Hiya. I'm going to do a really quick video today and I want to show you a few tips on where best to put your bronzer, highlighter and blusher. I've been doing a lot of longer videos recently and I thought maybe some quicker things might be of interest. So I'm going to start with a bit of CC Cream Original all over. And what I'm also going to do as well, as I'm going through this is almost a bit of a first impressions video because I've just had this morning some pieces through from Lisa Armstrong's collection with Avon, and I've seen a lot about it online. I've been really looking forward to trying it, so I'm going to use some of those bits in this makeup. So I'm sure you may already follow Lisa, but if you haven't got her already, she's the head of makeup on Strictly. And as you know, I absolutely love Strictly. I cannot wait for it every week. So I've been really looking forward to trying this. She also did a really lovely episode of In the Bathroom with Sally. And it was a really lovely chat. Like, she was explaining that when she was younger, she used to do a lot of disco dancing. And so she loves kind of being back in that dancing capacity when she's doing the makeup on Strictly. It's really lovely and worth a watch. But also I just like that if you think about that kind of a role, you know, the amount of people that team have to get ready every week in record time, and it has to withstand, you know, exercise, lights, TV studio, all the rest of it. You can just imagine the kind of considerations she's had when she's put this together. So I'm really looking forward to trying it. It's actually my birthday this Saturday, and I mean, I don't think anyone would ideally, I'm just going in with some setting powder by the way, I don't think anyone would ideally like to be in lockdown for their birthday, but it's Strictly Come Dancing movie week, so to be quite honest with you, there are no complaints over here. I'm absolutely delighted. Okay, so I'm just going in with a bit of translucent powder. This is from It Cosmetics. What I would say is if you're using a creamy base, it is great to set it with something powdery before you go in with other powders, because if I'd gone in with bronzer or blusher or highlighter on a tacky base, it would have just clumped and your brush is just gonna stop in its tracks. Whereas now that I've gone over really lightly and just given that a bit of a velvety, take the edge off, all of these powders are gonna glide on. Now I'm using a PC03 from Peaches. This is a really fluffy brush. There are lots of different brush shapes that would be great for bronzer. I'm trying to see what I've got nearby. Lots of my big brushes are in the wash at the moment. You might prefer to use something larger and dome shaped like this. This is a PC04. But in general, I would say if you want a natural kiss of bronzer, use as big a brush as you can. So I'm going in with the Cheat the Heat bronzing powder from her collection. Can I also just say, if you did know someone called Lisa, it's a really nice present idea because the name Lisa is on everything, just in case you have a friend or family member that you were looking to treat. One of the lip liners has, it's actually a lovely collection, I'll show you in a minute, but she's called all of the products after her friends. One of the lip liners and lipsticks has Zoe written on it, and that's one of my best friend's names. It's nice that, isn't it, when you find your name on something? Anyway, I'm going completely off piece today. What I should be telling you is I'm taking this bronzer through the cheeks, in particular kind of where the hollow naturally is. I mean, let's be honest, I've got a bit more of a round face, so I can't say my cheeks are too hollow, but you can still see the kind of area. What I would say with any kind of sculpting, contouring, adding powder, start small and it is so easy to build up. It's much easier to build up than it is to take down once you've put too much on. I'm taking this through the temples here, really soft motions. And another thing, you'll notice that I have just put some CC cream on to build coverage. I don't want to apply too much pressure when I'm going in with this bronzer. It's almost like barely touching the skin, because if I rub too hard, it's just going to remove that coverage that I've just put on the redness. So I'm looking forward on. If you make any mistakes or you think, oh, that's gone on too heavy, take your foundation brush that you've just applied your foundation with, just soften out any edges. Lovely. Now, next I'm going to go in with highlighter. And again, this is one of Lisa's. This is Gleam Supreme Sparkling Pink. Absolutely Strictly Come Dancing worthy. Love it. I'm going to take this on a fluffy brush. I'm going to, you know, throw the brush on the floor while I'm doing it. This is Amy Connolly's The Blonder. I cannot talk today. The Blender. She's the Irish girl that's just got her makeup into boots. It's lovely. Now, you'll notice the size of this brush is the perfect size to get into little small areas. I'm going to take this on the brow arch. I will put some brow pencil on in a moment. I'm also going to take this on these inner corners of the eyes. Someone asked me the other day, actually, what are some tips for making yourself look less tired? This little highlighter tip is the smallest thing. It makes a huge difference. I'm going to put a little bit on the Cupid's bow. I'm going to take that same size of brush and work a bit of this highlighter. You want to go on this fullest parts of the cheeks here. And I'm using a tiny brush because, as you can see from there, for example, I can have a bit of texture on my cheeks sometimes from the rosacea. And you want to avoid with your highlighter any areas of texture, but give the other areas a bit of a glow. And it'll mean that, like, the areas that I've covered by default look more luminous because of this small placement of highlighter. But actually you get the best of loading on your coverage and looking like you've hardly put anything on. One of my favourite areas to get, as long as there's no texture. There is a little bit of texture there on me today, but there we go. We're all learning as we go along. A little bit here, a little bit on the tip of this nose. I know that might seem a bit bizarre, and I feel like now that I've done it, it's more noticeable. But when you're on a Zoom or something, because let's be honest, a lot of us are going to be zooming it up over the next few weeks, it really just adds an extra bit of glow. Now, I'm going to return to, I want a smaller brush than this. I'm going to take an even smaller version of that brush. This is a Peaches PC17. Did I bring in a powder? Yes. Blush-wise, depending on where you put your blush, you can completely alter the look of your makeup. If I was to go here, it's really good at giving you a bit more fullness to the centre of the face. So if you've got perhaps a slightly longer face, you're going to love that. I've already got a round face, so actually I'm going to take a bit of this absolutely old as the hills Ecstasy blusher from Charlotte Tilbury. And I'm almost going to take this through the fullest part of my cheek up here. And actually, one of my favourite tips, because I've got slightly asymmetric lips, is I rarely kind of follow the lines. I draw it on where I want it to be rather than following what's already going on. And this blusher tip is great. My cheeks aren't as high as this, but I'm drawing them on there to give the illusion that they're a little bit more lifted. So I would say, have a little look at where you want these areas of fullness and things like that to be in your skin and put it in where it works for you. Now, let me put the finishing touches on. I'm going to throw a really quick eyebrow on. Oh, I've bought the wrong pencil in actually. Never mind, I'll be giving this a go for the first time. This is the It Cosmetics pencil I already use all the time, but they've brought out some shade extensions and I have grabbed the dark brunette, which as we can see is not my hair colour. But you know what, we're in lockdown. It's really not the end of the world if my eyebrows are slightly darker than the rest of my hair, is it? Let's just put these things into perspective. So a little bit of brow pencil going through. You can see that it's not quite blended there at the end, but if you just give me a moment, once I've thrown that on, I'm going to take the spoolie at the end and use quite a bit of pressure to tickle that product into the brow and soften it all in. Lovely, love that, nice and full. I'm going to take a bit of Lisa's mascara. So the Miraculous Volume mascara, lovely. Gonna give this a go. I should have said sorry. This is all from Avon. This is the collaboration that she's done with them. No. It's really nice actually for, it's not clumpy at all, that mascara. Really nice and soft. It's separating them out lovely, and it seems like you could build it to a finish that really feels comfortable for you. I think that's the key with any kind of makeup. As I said a minute ago, it's so much easier to build than it is to correct it if you've put too much on and you're in a bit of a panic. So nice to go nice and softly. And then I'm gonna, while I'm here, just throw on a nice little nude lip. I wanted really the emphasis to be on the placement of everything else, so I didn't want to do anything too fancy. I'm gonna go in with that Zoe. Was it Zoe I wanted to use? Yeah. So a little bit of Zoe liner. And if I show you, see how my lips dip at the end there? I put loads of highlighter on there, didn't I? Never mind. I am going to ignore that and almost plump up these outer corners. I only do it on the top, but I just think it gives more of a symmetrical finish. And I keep the top where it is, the top, the arch. I don't go over the arch. I just plump the sides, making their way up to there. There we go. I'm going to take that all over the lip. It's quite a nice matte feeling liner, so it's going to help to hold everything in. I've got a bit of a spill there, never mind. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Zoe lipstick to match. And this is one of the, see what I mean? If you knew someone called Lisa for Christmas, can you see that? Very pretty anyway. And there we have it. So, hope you enjoyed. Do you know what I'm going to do actually, to be honest? That is a bit matte for me. I'm going to put a bit of balm on top of that and just create more of a dewy finish. Now, that feels fab. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what kinds of things you want to see as a quick breakdown, like the placement, and I'll get to them over the next few weeks. Okay, take care.